Pode mais ser direito no primeiro dia. Pra quem não tem.
Beleza. Como é?
Agora não sabe se apresentar mais, porque todo mundo já percebeu.
Let's all get a grind on What's my day for life?
They have a flashlight.
The bathroom at the end of the hallway.
Falta aí, pessoal, né? Deixa eu dar uma olhada. Bom bebê, né? Bebê.
Singer, right? It's Enrique. Yeah, but it's close. I thought it was it's very American.
Sounds right.
Sounds right.
It sounds right.
We have an Apple TV malfunction.
Yeah.
CLI. As opposed to like
Yeah, I would like to.
I once used the phrase in a conversation around my mother-in-law. She's like, just lost it. She just laughed so hard. She's like, "Why did you just say that?" I'm like, it just it's an acronym. Graphic user interface. And she's like,
Okay,
like, not
so
funny at all, actually.
can I start it or should I do this?
Okay guys, so we are a little bit late. It's alright. We're gonna have the same format as yesterday. It's gonna be 3 talks during the morning, 1 workshop after lunch. We're gonna start with Enrique, talking about CLI tools with Node. Then accessibility with Julio, Sergio, Chema. Then we have a break. Then we have a talk, Nate, about front-end architecture, and then a workshop with Rob. Okay? Awesome.
Oh, so, hi, my name is Henrique and I work here at the front-end team. I'm going to talk about writing command line interface tools with Node. Just a second. So, writing something with Node is really easy. It's like writing any code on the browser or the consorting, and so on. Excuse me for a minute. Okay. So why you want to write something with Node? Maybe it's because you want to use third-party libraries that are written in JavaScript, or because you want to reuse your own code. NPM is like the JavaScript package manager. It's not only for Node actually, but it's still expanding to say spot browsers and so on. Sometimes using tools like Bower. It's structured like it's really simple. You have a package.json where you can define some properties like that. Let me show you. So you just write some JavaScript code and you want to share it to everyone. So you maybe publish it on a GitHub repo, and you add this package.json and publish it on npm by doing something as simple as say npm publish. After that, the package is registered, and you are the owner of it. Node is still becoming more stable. It's not really. I mean, you can use it on production at this time, but you can't trust all its APIs. We had some few problems with Node.js because of that in the past few months. You may be aware of it. For example, it was kind of complicated to do synchronous execution of should process before. We have tried to use some polyfills, but it didn't work as we expected. So this is why we have to drop support for the versions before it. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So when writing something for the terminal, you have to be careful of some things, and many things are different. For example, now you have environment variables that you can access or write to them. So the idea is maybe you wanted to use the user default editor instead of making, say, Git always use VI or IMAX or whatever. You have to set a working directory if you don't want to work on the default one. Say, for example, imagine if you have a tool and you want it to do something that it's always related to the directory you are working on. So, like Go, you have the tasks that are run locally. So it's really useful. It also you have a name arguments that is pretty easy to understand. It's like how you pass values to a process. So you just you want to use like the Unix way to do things. For example, you better use this format here, where if you just use one letter, it's like a shortcut. If you use a command, you pass a value afterwards. And it's like if you need to access it, the code is pretty simple. So what this code does? What's a filter program? In Unix, one kind of programs that exists is really simple. It takes input, it transforms it to something else, so it creates an output. For this example here, it starts reading from standard input, and when it receives data, it will just transform it like this that we will see on the next slide. So you can see here that I can pass it like something that's piped to my script, or I just execute my script and it doesn't end just after. It hangs on, and you can just type something, and after you press return, it will end. Uh, your output will be there. There is one thing that I have noticed that many people writing code with JavaScript always forget is that it's important for you to send your output to the right place. For example, if you have error message, you want it to go to the process standard error of the whatever you are using, because this is what it is expected when you are using it. So sometimes you have to abuse it. For example, if you are using some tool like Convert, that is a iMagick tool for transforming images, for example, doing conversions like resize and so on, the standard output will be used for writing the data file, and you maybe want to use the standard error to metadata or something like that, but it's not a really common case use, and so you almost never will end up using it. Maybe you'll never use it in your life. There is also Unix Signals that you can use, so sometimes you have to. So what's a Unix signal? Imagine that you have a process and you wanted to listen, for example, for a signal. That means that the process must be terminated, or it will be. There is a slight difference there, because you can ask a process to terminate itself and it can like say, no, I'm not terminating it, just ignore the signal. But you can like kill the process. So okay, one thing that you may have noticed also is that many tools on Unix, when you call it, there is no output. For example, if I go here and I say create a file, if I try to remove it, you see no output. Why is that? It's because of this idea. You don't want to send the user some output without any reason. So if everything went okay, it just ends the process and you can verify the exit code. If it was 0, you can assume that everything went as expected. Otherwise, it will be any number between 1 and 255, and you know that there is a problem. Some of these numbers are like assigned for a specific error in some software way, by the way. Oh, sorry. Right, let me go back here. There is something else we, as JavaScript developers, we are really used to JSON. Yeah, it's really easy for us to understand. But imagine that there are many people that are still not that used to. And also, I don't like it to have it on configuration files because it may be hard for making some small changes. Sometimes maybe your editor changes the structure, like the source formatting and so on. And well, I really don't need a really complicated structure. So you better do something simpler like .ini file that Windows uses IML. And I would they use a dictionary approach for any kind of configuration. If you don't use it, maybe it's because your data structure is wrong. Maybe you are configuring things that shouldn't be configured at wherever you are doing so, or maybe they shouldn't be configured at all. Maybe they are like parameters that you have to call at, say, execution time, so on. So one of the things to like master Node, it's like you have to know its documentation because it's very useful. For example, if you need to write files or call external services or listen to ports and so on, you have to know it, of course. And many of these things aren't possible directly with JavaScript alone. And there are many external libraries as well that are really useful. For example, we use Gulp a lot for tools like running test scripts and so on. There is another library that we use at GH that is async, that we can use it for running parallel scripts or anything else like that. There is something else. Maybe you haven't noticed that we are using less colors. Yeah, it's because sometimes it makes things more complicated. For example, if you are a hardcore user and you want to parse some output, it will be harder if if the program you are trying to use has a lot of decoration, like characters that are meant to control colors. If you are using like piping, yeah, you better don't have it at all. So I'm not saying that I'm 100% against using colors. No, I'm fine with it. Just make sure you use it only when you know it's not going to be wrong and so on. Okay, so there are some equality tools that we can use. Most of them are already popular with anyone that are developing JavaScript nowadays. For example, JS Hint, maybe Istanbul, Plato. This one here, the Hairwire, is a really good dependency injection system for node.js testing, because with it you can replace like some parts of the modules that you are calling for. Let me show you a quick example here. Okay, test. Yeah. Okay, so can you see it? No. Okay, it's better. So the first thing I do is just require it, and afterwards say that I want to test the logger here. So instead of using require, I call require, and also I can say that inside the logger I want my console to have just the log function, and this is it. So I can like mock things and so on. It's really useful. You can also mock environment variables that you couldn't in an easy way otherwise. It's a really nice tool. I started using some months ago, and it's very powerful. So, okay. Some final considerations are there are a lot of slow loading dependencies, and it's something that can be really a burden if you are developing some command line interface tool, because let's compare this. If I go here and you type git, you can see the output really fast. But if I type a dash, we still have some issues, and yeah, it takes like a 300 or 400 milliseconds. It you maybe you don't think this is too much, but if you have to call it a lot because you are doing some operations that are like really common, it will be a burden. So to avoid that, you can try to guess what dependencies are the slowest ones. But I have developed a small tool yesterday that you can use it to call in any program. So it basically will see the packages that are on your package.json, and it will show how long does it take to load it. This is not really complicated, but you can have a nice guess of what is wrong with your dependencies and try to fix it before your program starts to become slow. You can't rely at those numbers because things like file system caching and so on uh, will make the results appear really random, but at least it will be random like in a interval that you can identify what's wrong. Um, yeah, there are so many other things like there is no such thing as uh, creating a program like Gndage and publishing it as a binary. So anyone could install it using apt-get. No, we have so many hard dependencies. For example, well, in this case of a Gndage, we only have Node, and it has to be 0.12, otherwise it will not work. So it is something that maybe makes it harder for people developing some Node tools to rely on if they wanted to like make something that everyone can use. But the other side is that developing something with JavaScript is really easy for us, and it's really fast in most of the times. So an example, um, yeah, just like that I showed you actually. So, okay, I think it's pretty much it. Do you guys have any question like well, related to the talk? All right, thanks. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand.
Like you said, looking at the Windows deck, have you noticed what tends to be the problem with any node command stuff not working on Windows?
Oh yeah. Well, this is one of the reasons why we dropped the support for o.temp because it was really hard to do something and to test on Windows. For example, I think there is a CI server that's Happy Voyeur or something like that runs on Windows. But everything to do, like when we have to do something to work on Windows and on Unix, well, I would say most of the time, if not all the time, doing Unix is easier because not only because it's the platform most of us use, but also because, yeah, I think it's pretty much it actually. It's because of what most of the people use. So you have to have more people using Windows so things would work nice there. Because developing with Unix, for example, if you are using OS X or Linux, most of the times there will be no differences. So I would say most of these problems is related to user base of developers on Windows actually.
Yeah, so what happens is that, like in JS, for example, when you try to load a certain file,
Oh yeah.
the operating system before and then the file system. So there are some packages that they try to normalize that, and then you just require this one package, and then you normalize it. And then you have lots of other types. And there was another package that is supposed to copy and paste things from your keyboard and then output something. Those are another problem because it prefers communication.
Yeah.
So whenever you try to do that, it's hard, like from the user.
Or anything else that you like wanted to call a service, like, or another program. For example, I can't copy on Windows with CP. So imagine that if I'm a developer user to use Unix, and okay, I will just make a synchronous call here to CP to do it for me because I don't want to copy it using the, let's say, the platform. In this case, Node's copying tool. So I publish it, and 1 or 2 days after, someone will say, "Hey, it doesn't work on Windows anymore." And many times you have to guess. Sometimes it's our fault in some ways because we don't have a really good code coverage. So code coverage might help you, even though you still have to take care like to run your code with Windows and so on.
Are those cases easy to anticipate that you could actually code around them and like do like a try around like the report stuff? As so well on the Unix and Mac guys can use that feature, but that was basically for Windows guys. You can do it manually now, but it doesn't completely stop it.
So sometimes it's easy to anticipate breaking changes, for example. But one thing that happens a lot of times is this. We use it. Let me show you here in Gdash. Okay. So you see the dependencies here. We say this. We want the dependencies say that is greater or equal to 1.0.0 or better, like this. I think this means it is 1.0.x, where x is greater than the last number here, the minor, not the minor, the patch part of the server that is this format here. Wait a second. Okay, that is greater than this patch. So sometimes you see that your dependency is like updated on npm, and now say that it's not handlebars 3.0.3, it's 3.0.4. Okay, so you think there is no breaking changes because maybe you even look at the change log and everything seems fine. But a dependency of handlebars has a dependency and so on. And unfortunately, someone on the chain made some breaking changes just to Windows, or sometimes just to Linux or OS X or whatever. And yeah, you can never predict it. You can try to lock your dependencies, but even doing so, things happen and you don't expect it. Okay, any more questions? Okay, that's it. Thank you.
On accessibility, ideal.
Hã?
Ele tem esse pacote aqui.
Qual? Interesse. Tipo, só chamar na.
O que você fez pra
É trivial o código. Dá uma olhada. É de 50 linhas.
Não tem nenhuma dependência.
Não.
Eita, tá com um typo aqui.
Ops. Onde? Onde é que é essa? Onde é que tá essa?
Você tem.
Node.js organization. For some reason it didn't make things don't work differently.
Ops.
Keep giving me 404 error.
You can use it even if you're...
What was that website?
This one is code drops. Symptoms.
Okay, guys. So here we are talking about accessibility again. And the reason we are talking about it again is because we are learning more about accessibility and we are improving in many aspects, which is very good. But some people are not aware of it, and some of them are in this room probably, and then they are making things worse. So at the same time, in every version of the portal, we improve in some aspects and we get worse in some others. So I think it's very important for all of you to be aware of the minimal stuff I'm going to tell you today here, so that at least you help us not to get worse, but to improve. Because accessibility is usually in the front end. So usually backend developers don't have any role, playing role in the accessibility stuff, but you who are sitting here are the main responsible for accessibility in the portal. So you should be aware that whenever you are making the guidelines, when you are creating components that people will reuse, when you are creating a new theme, a new content for library.com, you are the ones making library either accessible or not accessible. So the responsibility is all yours. Okay, so you should be aware of this because, as I told you, some things got much better and some things got worse. So we need to avoid these reversions. Okay. So accessibility nowadays, in the past, if people will ask, "Are you accessible?" Blah blah. They will ask. Nowadays, they assume we are because most products out there are. And in the same way, our look and feel has to be much nicer because people are getting used to GitHub, to Gmail, to all these products which look really nice. Then you cannot give them a very ugly product because they are used to something beautiful. All these companies are also providing very accessible products. Google, Facebook, Apple, all of them are working really hard on accessibility. And then our customers are used to this and they won't accept that we are not accessible anymore. So we need to reach out to catch up with these guys and at least provide the same level of accessibility they provide. So we need to worry about it a bit more.